Hello guys, in the previous lesson we have talked about what's the difference between the Python and another language which is written in the computer science, for example the C or C++ or Java or the Visual Basic and something like that. And now in this lesson we will focus on the basic syntax of the Python language. Okay. And so firstly we need to give some specific file name in here with the basic syntax py, like this one. We need to add the command line in here by using the 3 commas in here. Okay. And so firstly, in order to understand the underlying mechanism of the Python programming language, we need to analyze two concepts, which is Python language is given in the one syntax, and two the semantic. Okay, what does it mean? Syntax is like the rules to write proper code, or the mandatory rules to define your program correctly. Suppose that if we have the English person like this one, I am a student. This written in the English form of the language. Okay, and so in whole the language, I, which is given in here, I is the subject, am is the verb or identifier of these things, and the student is the object in here. And so in order to create a proper transformation of the language, we need to follow by some rules in here, like this one. This, for example, is in the form of the English language, but in the computer architecture or the computer programming language, there is a similarity to create or to write a code with the same analogy, like this one. And so the syntax is used or is defined as the rules to write proper code or mandatory rules you're defining program in a proper way. Okay, and so if we want to write a simple or the effective Python code, so we must follow these rules. And so what if we don't follow these rules, and then the compiler or the interpreter gives us an error? Maybe sometimes also we can get the warning value in here, but always gives an error in here if we don't follow the syntax rule of this language. Okay, this is the definition of the syntax in the programming language, not the Python language. Okay, and so what is semantic? Semantic means that the logic rules to be followed in in writing Python codes. For example, if we have any operation in here like this one, a equal to the 1, b equal to the 0, and c is equal to the a divided by b, and so we may have the print of this c value in here like this one. And so if we compile this code or interpret this code, this code can be interpreted by the C Python or the interpreter program which is defined in your computer. But this is not a semantic rule, or this may be illogical operation in here, because in real life, in math, we know that 0 cannot be divided by anything in the following procedures or mathematical procedures. Okay, and so but the syntax is correct in here like this one. This is a equalization operator or assigning operator in here, and the literal can be given at this moment, and so the specific identifier which is given in the A and B is in the form of the correct syntax, and C is also given in the correct form. But if we have the values of the 0 at the B or division operation, and then we do understand that this is the error. Okay, this is the semantics, and then we can conclude that the semantic may be correct in syntax form but not in logical form. Okay, and so this is the difference between the syntax and semantic rules on the programming language. And so if we have any error in syntax rule, this is the compile time error, we can call it. Okay, and so in the semantic procedure we can interpret any code in here without an error, and so we should define some specific rules or the error definition in here. And so this is the runtime error. Okay, and if you heard anything about runtime and the compile time error, you can see what's the difference between these two things. And so in the Python language, it's an interpreted language, and so the compile time error cannot be overdue or overwritten in this language. Only also the runtime error can be accomplished in this language, because everything is in the dynamic form, and so there's no static variable in here in the Python language, apart from the C or C++ programming language. And so the compile time error maybe happen in the Python language, but the semantic errors or the runtime errors is always be encountered in this language. Okay, this is the definition of the semantic and syntax words in in Python programming language. Okay, apart from that, we need to address of the programming identifiers. You may heard of the identifier keywords in here, like this one. And so identifier means that the variables, literals, or the other constant value which is given in in your programming language. Okay, but from that we have we have the words, but the keywords means that the specific identifiers, but this is directly defined from the compiler, or in another way, interpreter. To accomplish some basic functional operation. Okay, for example, if we have any loop in here like this one, if blah 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 true, and then we can say that print true, or else in here like this one, print false. Okay, this is the keywords: if, else, or class, or continue, or the for, or the return. This is defined in in the interpreter, and so if you can use these keywords, and then you can bind two things or two operation with the in one task. And so this if is like the I am a student in here. Okay, and so this if the question or the language is given in here like this one, and so we need to tell the compiler or the interpreter to proper arguments. which is the if or else. If creates some basic operation in here. This is a conditional operation, and so we can condition whole the program to what? To generate the proper or the what or the correct answer of your program. Okay? And so this is given at this moment, and then we should also gives the what? The operations in here, like this one. Operations means that the what? The general characters to create the what? The operations. For example, A is equal to the 5, B is equal to the 2, and C is equal to the A plus B. And so in order to accomplish the whole code structure in here in a semantic way and also in a syntax way, and so we need to utilize the assign operator in here, or the Python cannot understand what's the running code in here, or Python cannot solve this code or operation which is coming from the us. Okay, and so the Python sees this code, and so A should be created in here like this one. This is an identifier, and so we should assign of the some values in here with the what? With the assign operator in here. And then the 5 is a constant, and 5 is what? Is related to the A at this time, or the initial condition of these values. The operations or these operators should be utilized in the what? Python language in order to what? To create the complex program or the specific type of programs in here. Okay? And so this is the same syntax with the what? The C or C++ programming language or C# programming language. This is identical from these operations. But in the Python programming language does not have brackets. Instead of using the brackets, so we give the what? The line characters in here. For example, if we have the any operation in here, like the what? The for loops, for example, or the what? For example, for is equal to do. For example, the for x in the sum structure can be defined in here like this one, the width, and so print x can be given at this moment, and so we can create the some list value in here like this one, apple, banana, and the cherry. And then if we are running this code in here like this one, we don't need to use the parentheses or the brackets in here. Instead of what? Instead of using the new line character. And so in order to separate or split your program or your function, Python uses the new line character, not the brackets. Okay, and so we can say the print value in here is also what? The x can be given in this time. And so if I run this code, the apple, apple, banana, banana, cherry, cherry can be written on the what? The terminal page. But if we use this syntax in the C or C++ programming language, we need to use the brackets or the parentheses operators. But the Python automatically understands that this print and this print is possessed or had by to what? This for loop structure. Okay, and so if I have this nomination in here like this one, and so the apple x or apples, banana, cherry is written on this page, but the cherry is given at this moment because the last values of the x is equal to the what? The cherry, due to the what? Due to the usage of this for loop. But if I delete this term, and so the cherry is like what is written on this page again. And so if I reorganize this code like this one, and so the cherry, banana, and apple is written on this page. Okay, this the what the lines operation can be used is the what is the Python language. Okay, and so multi-line statements can be given with the what the total is equal to the, for example, 1 plus 2 plus 3. Okay, and so we can print the total value in here like this one. And so if I run this code, the results of these things and 6. Okay, and statements in Python can be splitted into these terms, or collect the whole terms with a one line can be accomplished by using these things. Okay, and so this is the what the basic syntax of the what the Python programming language. And so in the next lesson we will talk about how we can create the variables and how we can analyze the variables in Python programming language. Okay.